Hey everybody, welcome to the presentation here. My name is Michael King. Been with Inflow for a couple of years now, doing PDM consulting projects. Prior to that, I was a global PDM administrator as well as a CAD admin. So we're going to be talking today about bill of material management in SolidWorks Manage. We're going to basically be taking a look at what we can do with the features and capabilities of Manage when we're dealing with BOM configuration. Today, the agenda, we're going to first take a couple minutes, just talk about the interface. Quite a few people who still haven't seen the interface of Manage, so we're going to just take a quick gander at that, make sure that we are talking to the right spot in Manage and that everybody understands what we're doing. From there, we're going to jump into setting up our scenario where we'll be pulling a task that's been assigned to us to work on some bill of material features. In the live demonstration, we're going to be going through and updating an existing bill of material. We're actually going to take a look at one of the bill of material reporting features that's available in Manage, and then basically create a custom regional configuration for a bill of material, and as well as import from Excel one of our Excel templates to import information into a bill of material. We'll kind of finish up with that. I'm doing looking at some revision history for the bill of material and Manage, and then also at the end we'll have a couple minutes for some questions and answers. Jump right into the material or the interface in Manage here. There's one to stick here. So in the for the interface for Manage, it's similar to what we deal with in PDM. There's a pretty big distinct difference in this one. It's actually a standalone application. It's not built into our C drive. So with Manage, we have this standalone application, but if you see the layout here, it actually looks pretty similar to what we're doing in PDM. We have the navigation kind of pane on this side, which now we're calling the browsing tree. We have a record type selector down at the bottom that we can go through and actually select different items like our home, tasks, and timesheets, different things that we're doing there. At the top, we have this ribbon bar that's very similar to what we're doing inside of Outlook or inside of SolidWorks with that ribbon bar. We also have an area where in the middle, which is going to be our main viewing pane. We have some tools on the bottom right, and then we have some options for some advanced options when we're dealing with some flyouts that can be found in this section here, in this piece. There's also a spot for our user options where we can deal with passwords and kind of set up our profile and Manage. We're not going to be doing a whole lot with that today. We'll kind of skip over that for what we're doing here. What I'd like to do is jump right into Manage and take a look at this live so that we can actually see the product in action here. Log into my Manage piece here on my desktop. Going to take a second to log in. First time of the day here. Go ahead and log in with my credentials that I have available. And this is going to log me into Manage. This is connected to PDM as well. So I have my admin account in Manage is tied to my admin account in PDM. Manage pops up. I like to start out and go to my Home tab here in the record type selector area here in this bottom piece. So when I go to the home page, I can actually take a look at some of my dashboards for what I'm working on currently. I'll go ahead and let one of these load up. The most, the one that I'm going to take a look at today is actually the project dashboard. And plug in my password for this one. The projects that I'm working on. These dashboards are customizable to meet whatever need you have. These dashboards are set up in a way that you could have a dashboard for your projects. You could have a dashboard for engineering change management, maybe even some NPI process dashboards to keep track of your NPI processes. One of the things that we're showcasing this year is that we now have the ability to refresh automatically the dashboards. So we could technically basically set this up to where we could have a community monitor with the information being displayed and have that refresh set so that information is being refreshed live. Takes it away from the takes it away from the admin, publishing these reports, or the project manager, and we can have this stuff displayed on a community monitor so everybody can take a look at it. Continuing in the home piece here, I could take a look at what I have for my work. Maybe if I was looking at a certain process or project that I'm dealing with. And I also have tasks. So I could go to in my home area, I can go to tasks and see what's assigned to me just by clicking here and seeing what's happening here. This is actually where we're going to pick up in a minute and start working on one of the bill of materials we need to change. From here, I can see other users that have tasks assigned to them if I have that permission, and kind of get an overall view of what's going on and what's been assigned. I have some report favorites and timesheets that I could deal with, but for now, we're going to jump into the other pieces here. So in the record type selector area down here, I go to documents and records. This is kind of the records that live in my managed system. And inside of manage, I can have a bill of materials. I can have some library things that are just records. They're not even linked to SOLIDWORKS items. They may just be what we'll see here in a minute, thread lock. I'm not going to model a droplet of thread lock, but I can have a record with all the appropriate information attached and put that in my bill of materials. Quick filters, so I can go into my vault, actually my PDM vault, and drill down and see things that are all my assemblies or all my drawings right here from manage, and actually see my overall vault layout. Down the row a little bit further, our processes. So we can actually jump into maybe seeing what we have for new product introduction and the different processes in their progress. We could have maybe a process that drives our engineering change orders and our change requests. So we could take a look and see what we have in those processes as well. All this can be reported on, and we can have that dashboard set up to take some of this information out of here and display it. And we also have projects. So the projects is where I could maybe have my engineered to order or my new product development type. It's where I can store all the information about that project. I could have information coming from PDM. I could have information coming from Outlook, wherever I'm pulling that information into, as well as deal with the tasks and planning that are available for that project. What we're going to be focusing on today is the documents and records area. But to do that, we're going to kind of start out with a task here. So this first scenario that we're going to be walking through is where I'm going to be assigned through this task here. When I open this task, I'm assigned that I need to go in and add 3 foot of a 16 gauge wire and a couple drops of thread lock. And to do this, they've already attached my reference assembly in SOLIDWORKS here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive to this record here. It's going to take me to the assembly that's attached to my task. Assembly here. I'm going to show the images. I like to see log into my PDM here. The images to show a little thumbnail of what I'm dealing with in my view here. So today I'm going to be taking a look at this assembly, and I want to make a couple changes to the bill of material. What's kind of nice about this, so the first thing I want to do is look at it in PDM though. So when I find this record in Manage, I can actually click on it and say Show in Windows Explorer. What this is going to do, this is going to open up PDM, and it's going to open up my vault view and show me the assembly in context of my vault view. When I open up the full view of PDM here, this is kind of the view we're pretty familiar with. We have our e-drawings piece here where we can view everything. And we have the bill of material that's in PDM, our contains and where used, as well as this tab about SOLIDWORKS Manage. So when I look at the SOLIDWORKS Manage tab, I actually have a task tab down here, so I could actually see that task that was assigned to me to update that bill of material. So from here, I can, while I'm working in PDM, this would actually show up, so I wouldn't even have to be in Manage to see that. Right when I'm working on this assembly, I could go and see this task. So for now, what I need to do needs to be done in Manage. I'm going to go back to manage right from PDM. It's going to take me to that record of that assembly in manage. And we're going to modify the bill of material according to the task we've been given. We're going to check this out. It's also going to check it out in PDM for us. And now this record is going to show, it's going to go from checked in, checked out. It's been checked out by the admin user. So I'm going to go down to the bill of material tab. And right now I currently have a bill of material set up, but I need to just add those few items. So I'm going to go up very quickly here to edit. Click on add. And the items I'm adding, they don't have SOLIDWORKS parts or models behind them. What we're doing is we're just adding a record to a commodity item, which in this case is going to be our thread lock and our wires. So I'm going to click on the thread lock. Oops. Click. We're going to add a drop of thread lock. Then I'm going to go down to my 16 gauge wire where we said earlier, enter in the 3 and add and close that. And now when I save this, that information is going to be added down at the bottom of my bill of material. And you'll notice here that it's showing that it's just this diamond. This diamond is representing that it's just a record. It's not linked to a part. So this can be done very easily here. So we'll go ahead and check this in with a comment here. Pops up. Go ahead and say that we updated the BOM. Check the file in. Take us back to PDM where I could click on the assembly, go to my task. So now I'm done with that work. The task is complete and I managed to complete it right from, go back and complete it from PDM. So that's kind of just a simple edit to a bill of material where we have a record that's being added. The next thing that we want to do is actually take a look at some configurations of bill of material that are based on regions. First, I want to show you one of the reports we can run here. So when I take a look at this shipping bill of material, I can actually run a report here. Report is going to give me the bill of material in a nice format that I could customize. So this format that shows up here is fully customizable. We're taking advantage of some barcode methods. We have some other things going on here with our logo and address, and then we're actually showing the image of the item. This could be used, the item gets to shipping and we're packaging it up and shipping needs to show that they've deducted this from the system. So we could use this barcode to kind of deduct that from the system. Fold this up, put it in the box, and it kind of becomes our packing slip. So this is fully customizable. It's not just for engineering. We can use these reports and these customizable forms to send out to other groups if needed. But in this case, we need to update the bill of material that's for our shipping BOM. We need to modify the bill of material that we're dealing with for our European shipments. Open up our record here. For a second. My bill of materials, I have a couple different variations of my bill of material. The first one I have is for when I'm shipping inside the US, and when I'm building and shipping inside the US. I could see the bill of material here. And what we need to do today is we need to create our bill of material for when we're shipping to Europe. And we need to modify the supplier for one of our motors, as well as make some updates to the packaging requirements for our European customers. What we'll do here is I'm going to go to the European Union one, or the European group, I should say, the location. And I want to edit this bill of material. And I want to take advantage of what I've already built in the US bill of material. So I'm going to copy from the US. I take all that information I've just done for the US bill of material and bring it over as a starting point for my Europe bill. When I open this up, here I'm going to do the show images. See that this bill of material now matches basically what I have for the US version. So I'm going to save this for real quick and then actually edit it again. And at this point, I want to go down, and I know for a fact that when I build with motors in the UK, that I need to update the supplier. So I'm going to go over, find my motor real quick. I see the image, I can see the description. I'm just going to quickly update the supplier. I know that I need to use Gates Corp when I'm dealing with the UK. So I'm going to hit OK, and that's going to update my supplier for that motor. I also know that because all the extra things that we have to ship with our European models, we need a larger cardboard box to handle all of it. So I'm going to come in here and do a replace of the box. Right now I have the 18 by 14 box. And this is going to be another library item that I don't have a model for, but I need to just show that for that build to be able to put it in the box, I need to show that it's coming from this box here. So I know it's a UK here, and I know I want the 24-inch by 18. So I can quickly replace that box. It updates here. It updates the part number for my European bill. But I also know that I need to purchase this from a different company when I'm dealing with Europe. I can go into the supplier, click on Uline. That's where I know I need to buy that box from. And I also know that the bubble wrap needs to come from Uline. So I come down to Uline, pick that for the bubble wrap, and now I have my configured shipping bill for my units that are heading to Europe. Go ahead and save that. It updates with the hyperlinks and the suppliers, and everything is good with the world right now. What I'd like to do now, though, is I want to compare the two bill of materials. So I'm going to take advantage of one of our bill of material compare features. It's open, and I want to compare the differences. This is one of my checking methods here of my bill of material in the US compared to my bill of material in Europe. Select the US on one side and in Europe on the other. And I'm going to click compare, and this is going to build a comparison and show me the differences between the two bill of materials. This is going to show me here that the box on one side is different than the box on our Europe side. And then when I scroll over, supplier is different on the Europe side as well as the supplier for my motor. One of the things we could do here is we can actually export this as an Excel file. Actually, what it does is it creates an Excel workbook, I should say. We'll make a quick save of this. This is going to save the bill of material compare into a workbook. Tab or worksheet in the workbook is going to be very similar to what we're seeing here, and it's going to be the compare. So this is nice that I could export this and share this with groups that maybe aren't using Manage, or maybe that I need to do some checking and validation and verification for that change in that update. So now I have both of the compare on this sheet where I can see the differences, and I also have the individuals split out. So I can see the bill of material for the US and the bill of material for Europe. This allows me then to have that information readily available, kind of make a real quick compare to make sure I'm on track. The last thing I want to show here, we're going to do a quick import for a bill of material and try to save some time for some questions here as well. Save this and close this. What I want to do here is we're going to take a quick minute. What we're going to do is we're going to take an Excel sheet that's been formatted, and we're going to bring it in to complete a bill of material for a part that's purchased. So we want to have some records of the parts that are inside of what we're purchasing for further down the line. So we're going to take an Excel sheet that's formatted and bring it in to one of our kits, our electrical assembly, sorry. So I'm going to go to our electrical assembly filter, and this is where we're going to find this record. I'm going to open the record, and we're going to go to this bill of material tab here. You can see it's blank, and this is a purchased item, but we still want to have some information about that in our records to keep track, maybe for some regulation that we have to keep track of those items inside of it. Go ahead and hit edit here. We'll go ahead and do this, show some images. And we're going to second here. Let me click off this one more time. There we go. For some reason, that import BOM from Excel was grayed out on me there. So what I'm going to do is import the Excel document. I actually have it stored in PDM. You don't have to. I just happen to have mine there. But you could have that sitting in a shared drive or something else. We'll go ahead and hit open. We're going to select the worksheet that we're bringing this from. We're going to preview the data. And what happens here is the ones that are matched up and we can verify there's a record in manage, it's going to show as a record. But this last item, I know that when I import this, I want to tie it to the regulation or whatever we're dealing with here, and actually force the engineer to pick the record. So we can bring it in as text. We'll go ahead and do import. Take a look at this. Save, so it updates here. So we have a text line that's not tied to any records, but everything else was imported with a tie to that record. So we'll go ahead and grab this one, and what I want to do now is just quickly replace this with something that already exists that I know the part number for. So right now we don't have a part number, but we have the description and the quantity. We'll come in here, do a replace, click my library piece here. I know this one starts with EL, and it needs to be one of the IC regs. Let's do it here, actually. Pick this top one here. We'll hit replace, and then now that ties us to an actual record in manage, and everything can be lined up accordingly. Go ahead and save this. I want to take this thing that we just built out and quickly add it to another, to that last shipping bill that we were working on. So what I'm going to do is go down to my shortcut here. We were working on that shipping bill 1. I'm going to go back to that. Open record. I'm going to add that one that I just imported from Excel directly into here. We'll come down here and we'll go to edit. Add the bill of material we just added to that purchase part here to be one here. Say add and close. Now we have that piece that was added for us here, this purchase part, along with all of the items we added from Excel, including that modified IC reg. That can now be updated to our bill of material very quickly. So that's kind of the basics here of what we wanted to show in Manage for the bill of material management. So we went through and made a change to an existing bill. We made a bill of material configuration for a regional required bill. We went through and imported some stuff from Excel and also ran one of those reports for our shipping department so we could utilize our data outside of engineering. We ran out a little bit of time here. The other thing we have is all these bill of materials have revision control. And you can actually keep track of the revision inside of a bill of material, inside of Manage, to where you can go back and see the history and the part changes. So other than that, this is basically, we believe that Manage is a great tool that we can help organizations utilize bill of material information better across the organization. So that's about what I have for the presentation. What I wanted to do was if we don't get a chance to ask the question right here, I put my email address here on the bottom. Don't hesitate to email me and ask me questions. If I don't know the answer off the top of my head, I could definitely get some of our seasoned experts in Manage and also talk to SolidWorks about if there's any questions that you have. Love to hear from you on this. And I appreciate that you guys come and hang out with us during the DI month for this presentation here.